Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our Family Center update. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we had so much content we filmed last week that we decided to split this video into 2 parts. So without further ado, here is part 2.
So as we continue coming into the property, we're now on the back side of the property. Maybe y'all can recognize this. This is behind the concession stand, kind of in the backside where CYO would sometimes have practice, different things. So as you can see, we are using all 20 acres, not just the front section. But I did have to ask Alex, what are with the giant concrete boxes here?
These are actually part of our stormwater system and our fire line system.
Okay.
So you have the inlet boxes that collect the water and they transfer through the pipes that are out there.
Okay, so one of these is what's going to go probably in the front by the gate then.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's that box right there with that little special little lid on it.
Perfect. So the second one in from the left is the box that's going to go where we pointed out at the very beginning of the video where that water line is coming in into the property. That's actually the box that's going to go in the ground right there. You can see it looks small, but if I went to stand by it, it probably comes to my chin, I would imagine.
It's every bit 5 by 7. So
5 by 7.
It's a good size vault.
It's a big box. It's not just Legos. I did ask Alex if he was making giant Legos that we could build a kids thing with. No, this is all going to get buried in the ground at some point.
That's right.
Now, we also mentioned a little bit farther behind me, y'all will be able to see that we are going to be running piping for the water lines and different things. So now it does look like you have a couple different varieties of pipe. What are the different varieties, and maybe where there's specific colors represent certain things?
They do. As a matter of fact, that blue pile right there with the fire equipment next to it, that's an actual fire hydrant. You see the riser that comes out of the slab. That blue pipe is our water line feed for the fire. Okay. The green stack next to it is our sewer lines for our sewer. And then the next pipes that you see there are our inlets for our storm water.
Okay.
Inlets. So that is our inlet piping structure for the storm water through the parking lot, through the site.
Perfect. So actually there's a fire light. You said a fire hydrant right next to it?
Yeah, you see it right there laying on its side.
So I do kind of see it. The silver on the top is the hydrant itself.
And then that other riser you see laying up against the pipe, that is one of the stub ups that comes in our fire riser room. It's part of our FTC.
So that L-shaped pipe will actually be inside of the building.
That's right. It'll be stubbed up in our fire riser room.
Perfect. And then y'all can also see, some of y'all may remember the old beer booth. As we said before, we didn't destroy it. We moved it to try to save it. It has been stashed over here in this area as well. Hopefully in the future, when things get finished here and the fields are back to use over here for CYO, it becomes the concession stand. Now, I guess, Alex, this is also why CYO wouldn't be able to use on the weekends when y'all aren't really doing as much here, why they're not able to practice or do games on this site.
That's exactly right, because not only just for the storage for the materials, but we also have the detention pond that will be getting worked on too. Okay. So there's a lot of grading, a lot of cutting in there as well.
So what is the purpose of a detention pond? It's not just for father to have a fishing hole.
No, it's not.
What is a detention pond for?
Basically what the detention pond is to help decrease downstream flooding. Okay. So basically what it does, it also helps contain contaminants and silts.
Okay.
So that's what it does. It'll fill up that tank. It lets out a certain amount. Once it reaches a certain level, sediments stay on the bottom. You're getting pure, cleaner water going downstream. You're not contaminating the stream.
Awesome.
Plus, it prevents it from over flooding. Okay, so it has to reach a certain level.
So for our future development, for those that maybe haven't really looked too much at the master plan, what is this area really planned for in the future?
In the future, it's planned for an extension of the CYO program.
Okay.
So here we're going to have another long official size soccer field.
Okay.
And then over here we're going to have a practice field.
Okay.
So that's what this is planned for and slated for the future.
So it's not just to cut grass and make hay or anything like that.
No, it's not anything. We're tired of cutting grass. We want to hurry up and get this done.
So that makes sense. Now, also, that has quite a steep hill going up to the house. Is that hill just going to stay grassed, or are we going to do something on that hill?
Well, for the time being right now, we've already got a new topo established. We're going to try to add some additional parking for the pavilion as well.
Okay.
Originally, in the scope of things, we were going to have a bench and seating for these two fields.
Okay.
But, with cost increases and everything else, plus change in parishioners' attitudes, wants and needs, that's still subject to guests. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to maintain that slope.
Okay.
We'll go ahead, if we needed the additional parking we agreed to, we'll put the additional parking up there. We'll have a gently slope, and in the meantime, Once the detention work's done, we're thinking about utilizing that hill as movie nights out here.
Okay.
So we'll put up a giant screen, and then we'll start getting families out here. We did this a couple of years ago before we got into the construction.
Yeah.
And it went pretty well. It was well received. So that's what we're envisioning for here right now.
So for a fun question, have you rolled down that hill yet?
I haven't rolled down it. I've taken equipment down it, which is a little scary, but haven't rolled down it yet.
Okay, so maybe I'll come up with something if we get the funding done right, something where fathers will roll down the hill if we hit 100% of our funds. I'll put something together that where you may end up seeing a video of Father Raja and I go rolling down the hill,
There
or
you go.
riding a piece of cardboard or down the hill. We'll come up with something that may make some fun with that hill as well. But at this time, let's go ahead and we're going to continue around. We're actually going to pop out from around in front of the house. Our next video will be on the actual site for the new building. Okay, so now we continue on in our video. We actually get to the part I think everyone's wanting to see. I've covered every other 20 acres except the part everyone would be interested in until now. So right now, as you can see, there's been a lot of extra work that's been done here. The main thing I'm looking at is that is a lot of rock and dirt, and I guess that's called base.
It's called base material. Yes, it is. So basically what we have to do when we come on a site, we grub it, clean it, according to our geotech reports. Geotech reports after their drilling showed that we're in rock, but we do have layers of dirt and other materials we cannot use. So what Mesa, who was our contractor, did, came in according to the geotech, scarified the site, grubbed it, cleaned it all up, went down to solid rock, and then what they did is they had to put back material in order for it to get to our elevation.
How deep did they have to dig?
In the elevator area, we went an extra 7 foot. At the east end, as you can tell, the topography of our site here, everything flows that way.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're following the flow of the rock shelf.
Okay.
So basically, at that one end, we're probably 9 or 10 foot below what we got there right now.
Okay, so that's the one thing I wanted to make sure we understood is this was not all of the base we brought in, what they can see right now.
No.
There's a lot more down below the ground level.
Basically, what we did is we put in 7 lifts alone just for the top level coming up.
Okay.
So each one of those loads consists of almost 850, 900 tons of base.
Okay.
So that was just the top layer. That was to ground level that you see right here.
Yes.
So our structural pad is rated to where it's not going to go anywhere.
Yep. Now, because we're a little ways away, people may not realize it. At different points, we're about 4 to 5 feet above the ground level with base right now.
Right.
So am I going to just climb that? Is that going to slope? What's it going to look like? Kind of just give them an idea of how that space is going to fill in, because I'm doubting you're going to have climbing gear for me to get up into the building.
Okay, so this is the way it works. According to the civil engineer, as you can tell, our site slopes dramatically throughout the whole site. So
Yes.
from the front gate up to the detention area, we almost have 35 foot of fall throughout the whole site. So in order to make the elevations and the grading work for ADA parking, for access to the building, we have to split the site. So in doing so, that's why we're trenching up front 6 foot. We're going to remove some of that material up front to get the elevations to mirror together at the front.
Mm-hmm.
So along the front side, the west side of the building right there is handicap parking coming into the building.
Okay. So
Comes
that's where
across
that
the
white
front.
vehicle is parked right now, in that area, or more toward where the black on the trailer is?
Black on the trailer right there. You see that oak tree and the other oak tree and where the sign is? There's an actual sidewalk that lets people parking on this side walk through. That's a handicap parking that goes to the trees.
Perfect.
That comes over with a big wide sidewalk to get into the church, into the facility. And then we have more handicap parking around the building. We have some on this side as well.
Perfect.
The grades will gently slope out to our curb line. This will be a drop-off location for kids. This is a drop-off here, covered.
Mm-hmm.
And then around the building will be a pickup and an entry for our main people.
Okay.
So all the grades, everything will flush out. So our drainage goes back through there and ends up in the detention pond through the system.
So just so that people also understand, it's not just because we want to make sure we're courteous and give a parking spot for those who are handicapped. We're required to put in a certain amount of handicap parking and access that's actually expected in the plans and what we're told we have to do. Am I right?
Exactly. It's based off building size and occupancy. So this building right here, give you some points of reference. The footprint for this building, all 3 stories, combines 26,000 square foot, plus or minus.
Mm-hmm.
Our old existing hall alone was only 5,900 square foot.
Okay.
So we're greatly increasing our capacity and our room for ministries and everybody else involved.
Okay.
So in order to meet that, then we have to have the adequate parking to have that building full.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we have additional parking on the west side. We have parking all the way around the building to accommodate that. Also, our come-out lanes will still be the 2-lane processions going out. so we don't bottleneck. That's why we decided to have a drop-off and a pickup, and that way we keep flow and traffic moving.
Yeah. Okay, well, perfect. Now, you said this building is a little bit bigger, at least a little bit bigger than our previous hall. And so each floor, we're looking at this is a 3-story building. If those that haven't seen the plans, a 3-story building. And what's the square footage per floor we're looking at here?
It's 8650 basically per floor.
Okay.
Okay, and that's not including some of the entry areas like stairwells and stuff. We don't include that in our overall takeoff. So roughly, like I said, 27,000 square foot of building.
Awesome. And so the first 2 floors of that are going to be catechetical spaces. The 3rd floor is going to be a formal ballroom that y'all may remember from the videos of the picture slideshow. We had some pictures overlooking what we're going to be looking at off of that 3rd-story balcony, the lights of the city of San Antonio, and the rest of the expansion of Helotes back towards 1604. And so there's a lot of work that's happening here. Now, there are some guys actually doing work right now. Who all is on site? What are some of the things they're doing right now?
Well, we just had the electricians finish up their density on all their underground electrical that feeds into the building. So they just hauled out of here. Right now we have Marbach Plumbing. As a matter of fact, the lead foreman for them is one of our own parishioners, Ralph Mendoza. He's been with Marbach for years. I've known him for years. I grew up with him. So he's actually got an active interest in this site. So he's there making sure it's done right.
Perfect. So he's doing the plumbing. He's making sure the water is going to work right when it comes in.
And the sewers
are going to go out like it's supposed to.
Sinks work. Everything works according to plan.
So this isn't the only time he'll be on the site.
No, he'll be here for the top out and the trim out. As the floors go up, he'll be running the risers, plumbing the next floor. The next floor, he'll be doing our warming kitchen that we have on the 3rd floor as well.
Okay. What are some of the other people that we have working on site right now?
Right now, like I said, up in front that you saw earlier, we had Rocky Hill. We have Ella, who is our utility contractor. He's doing his work. I also have some members of our team. I have Superintendent Gary Clark, who's coming out here just to assist and get familiar with the project. He can take over if I have to make a run, so he's always in supervision. We also have an intern from UTSA who's going into his senior year. So we bring them into our metro projects to help them give them some field experience and kind of put it together while they're going through their last year. So his last day will be tomorrow. He's already hinted that he would love to come back since they're changing everything to video online. He says, I want to come back and
keep helping out a little bit.
That's right. So
well, cool.
We've had that team here. So next week, or actually to give you an update, plumbing should be roughed in by Monday, Tuesday. We'll be doing the backfilling after the test. Concrete guys will be moving in, starting to dig the actual elevator pit and get the underground steel going, and then we'll start working around the pad.
Now, for those that may not, I know for sure I don't, why do we need a pit for the elevator? What is that?
Well, basically what it is you've got to get to that ground floor. The pit is so big, 7-8 foot tall, plus you have to have the cylinders and all the other mechanical items for it. You also, according to code, we have to have a pump in there. Just in case alarms go off, we lose hydraulic or whatever, we have to have a way to recover it. So that's why you have a pit in it. So that's where a lot of mechanical stuff, lighting that we need for the guys that service it, and like I said, for emergency cases. Sprinkler goes off once it flood the building. First place it's going to go is the lower point of the building, which is the elevator. Perfect. So we have pumps in place to take care of that issue.
Good. So that's what we're doing. That pole actually means we're trying to make sure you don't get stuck in an elevator.
That's exactly right. That way,
I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't know if I would like being stuck in an elevator. I don't think any of y'all would either. Now, there is a lot of things going on. As Alex mentioned, we have some concrete work going to be starting. So as long as the rain holds out, I still am praying for rain. I do want to apologize for that. I'll never apologize for praying for rain. But as long as the rain holds out, it allows them to keep building and really get a good roll of what needs to happen. So hopefully our next update is going to even look a whole lot more different than what it has this time around.
It should.
So I do want to thank Alex for taking a moment to walk with us, to talk a little bit about what's going on the site. I want to thank all of you for tuning in with us for our video today. It is a little bit longer than my normal ones are going to be, but I thought it was good to get a lot of these details in early and then maybe just hit them very quickly in the months to come. But thank you very much, and we hope you've enjoyed our update of the Family Center this week.
Well, that's it, everyone. That was part 2 of our Family Center update. Thank you so much for tuning in. We can't wait to see you. We will be back in the coming weeks with more Family Center updates. So make sure you keep returning to see all the things we have planned. Stay tuned, and God bless.